Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Garrett, and in this video, I want to talk about the problems that I've had with these headphones. Also, before we get started, I should probably clarify that I'm not an Apple hater. I didn't buy these to find something wrong with them or anything like that. If anything, I'm normally one of the sheep they lead to the wallet slaughter when they release a new product. So take what you will from that. First off, I need to say that I love my AirPods Pros. I use them every single day for learning new things through podcasts, taking phone calls from clients, or just relaxing with music. They work with everything I have, they're small, and yes, they're good for flexing. But as much as I love them, there's no ignoring the simple fact that these things are broken. And I don't mean in a, they don't just work, the way Apple said kind of way. I mean really broken. In the first 3 months of owning these, I've had to replace both earpieces separately for almost exactly the same issue. And that shouldn't have to be done. Before I get into that, although I'm a little late to the game here, I want to talk about the features of the AirPods Pro. Let's talk about the case. This case is mostly great. It's larger than the previous version of the AirPods, but only by a little bit, and when it's in your pocket, you can't tell the difference. These obviously open in a different direction from the old case, which, while I feel is a little less comfortable to hold when opening it compared to the old one, it's still perfectly usable and easy to orient in your hand, thanks to the little recess where the case opens. The lid also has that super satisfying click that just says, "I'm over-engineered." And I love it. The way that the AirPods themselves fit into this case is a little less fun thanks to the rubber ear tips. It doesn't quite have that satisfying snap into place. But the trade-off is noise canceling, and honestly, that snap doesn't matter all that much. The wireless charging being built into these makes a dream of a truly wireless headset real, and that's nothing to scoff at. I know that the second gen AirPods had this feature as well, but I went from the first gen to the Pros, and boy, I did not know what I was missing. Seeing a confirmation of charging outside the case is great, and it helps calm my paranoia about things not being charged. I have a problem. On to the earbuds. For me, these are great. For a while at the beginning of wearing them, I did find myself feeling a little bit of soreness that a few people have talked about online. It happens right at the bottom of the ear. At one point, it was causing enough discomfort that I thought I might have to just return them and spend my $250 on something stupid, like groceries or life insurance. Thankfully though, after a few more days, that soreness subsided and I've never had any pain since. If you find yourself dealing with this problem, just give it some time to break them in. You have 2 weeks before you have to return them. It's worth a few more tries, at least in my opinion. Now, when I was dealing with this, I did try to change the tips, but none of them made a difference in the soreness, so I think the problem is more just getting used to in-ear headphones than anything else. Speaking of tips, I tried the sound check feature in iOS with all the different tip sizes, and they all said they had a good fit. I don't know anyone who has said they ever got anything but an all good with all the different tips, so I'm not 100% sure this isn't just Apple writing something into software that helps you feel good about your purchase. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it serves a real purpose, but in my anecdotal and totally inconsequential experience, this feature is more of a gimmick than anything. What's not a gimmick is the noise canceling. Noise cancellation is incredible. I'm not saying that AirPods Pro have the best noise cancellation in the industry. They don't. But they do have it in an easy to pair and manage package, especially for those of us who are so lost in the Apple ecosystem that no one's even looking for us anymore. It got so quiet when I put these in, I thought my car turned off. That's incredible. Noise cancellation has also helped protect my hearing. When I drive down the highway, my watch tells me, because it has a decibel meter on it, that the noise is sitting between 75 and 80 decibels, which is too loud to spend hours in without fatiguing your ears. With my old AirPods, I would have to crank up to almost full volume to hear what I was listening to. With these, I can sit comfortably at half volume without any problems. And because they mostly deal with the low rumble noises, I can still hear important higher tone noises like car horns, or my wife asking me to make a decision about dinner, then telling me she doesn't feel like going there. Transparency mode is great too, for when I don't want to put them back in the case, but I do want to have a short conversation with my wife. I use it all the time. Siri being accessible by voice via the AirPods is not only faster than using it on my Apple Watch, it also comes with the advantage of having my messages read out loud to me as soon as they come in. Since I'm wearing these while driving anyway, this makes having a completely hands-free experience while driving very easy, efficient, and safer than pulling out my phone or trying to see if my watch is registering my voice. But that's a different video. I'll get to this thing later. I can't say I love the pressure plates on the stems. I'm used to grabbing them now, but at first, when I was putting these in my ears and trying to control them just via the stem, these were a tad difficult to find, especially since they're shorter than the previous generations. I also still find myself, after months of use, sometimes applying too little pressure for it to register a click. But, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, that's the rundown of the features. So, let's get to why these ridiculous little things are broken. And when I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculously expensive. About a month and a half after I bought these, my left AirPod started clicking. It sounded like a miniature Geiger counter was stuck inside it. That's the best way I know to describe it. But here's the weird thing. It only clicked when there was movement. So if I took a step, I got a click. If I chewed some food, it would click constantly throughout that movement. It started only happening infrequently, but after about a week or two, it was happening constantly. Breathing was enough motion to make it click. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but that's actually what was happening. Now, this only happened when I was in transparency mode or noise canceling mode, so I knew it had something to do with the microphone. I also knew it couldn't be a software issue because it wasn't happening in both ears, just the left. So I went through all of the troubleshooting tips. I did the stupid plug it in and pray firmware update. I reset them completely. I even tried the fit test again. But eventually I had to admit that it was broken and I needed a replacement. So I called Apple, who made me do all of the troubleshooting steps again. And then finally, once we had done all of that, they concluded that yes, I was not an idiot, my AirPod was broken. They could have me swap one out for free at the nearest Apple store. The one that's an hour away. There's also an option to have them ship one to you, but if you want to do that, Apple will place a $99 hold on your bank account. If they get the old part back, they release the hold and it's like the money never left. But I had to choose if I wanted to spend nearly $20 in gas to drive and pick up my free replacement or wait for my money to be released from a $1 trillion corporation. Okay, fine. I opted to have the thing shipped to me. 2 days later, it showed up, I swapped it out, let the firmware get updated on the replacement AirPods so that they would sync up together, and then I sent the other one back. Eventually, my money got released, but it still cost me $10 in taxes, which is stupid because I did not purchase anything. When all was said and done, my AirPods were back to it just works status, and I was happy enough to go along with my life. A month and a half later, my right AirPod started doing the same thing. It was more of a crinkling noise, like someone, making you try to think the call is breaking up by crushing plastic next to the receiver. But other than that, it was exactly the same. It happened when there was movement. It started almost unnoticeable and got worse. It only happened in transparency mode or noise cancellation mode, and it was only in one AirPod. So I went through the whole process of getting a replacement again, now on the other ear, lost another $10, and now I'm just waiting to see if it happens again. Look, between the initial purchase price, the cost of AppleCare, because I did get AppleCare on these, and now the replacement pieces, I have spent just over $300 on these headphones. And $250 was a hard pill to swallow in the first place. And even though I can genuinely say that I love them in their working state, they aren't worth that much money. Not $300. If they hadn't broken like this, if they hadn't failed at the function they were designed for, giving me clean audio, I would fully recommend them. The pairing, the switching of modes, the ease of use from my desktop to my laptop to my phone to my TV, all of that is wonderful. I really enjoy using them, but all of that is shrouded by this dark cloud that hangs over the experience, thundering with the dark thought of when one will break next. So for that, I can't give these my full recommendation. But maybe, hopefully, I'm just unlucky. Hi there. It's been a couple weeks since we recorded the earlier part of this review. You can tell because of the different shirt and the quarantine hair. In the last couple of weeks, while we were working on the post-production for this review, something incredible happened, something I couldn't believe. We got a couple of packages in the mail. This one is a replacement left AirPod, and this one is a replacement right AirPod. I had to replace both earpieces again. Let's just, there it is. the other day I was using my AirPods, just listening to a podcast, everything was going fine, and then I put them in the case for about 4 hours, came back, pulled them out to watch something in bed, and they didn't work anymore. They refused to pair completely. They just wouldn't pair to my phone, the one that it had always been paired to. And then after a couple of resets, and by a couple I mean about 17, I was able to get them to pair, but it said, not your AirPods. And I was just stuck with something that didn't work. So I called Apple, went through all the troubleshooting steps a third time, and they said, yep, they don't work. We're gonna send you new ones. And I said, is there any way for you to send me new ones without putting a $200 hold on my account? Because each of them are $100 if I don't send them back. And they said, no, there's really no way we can do that. That's the only way to do it. And I said, well, is there any Apple store open that I can go to? And they said, no. This kind of unreliability in a $250 to $300 product, the way that I've had to pay for them, is unacceptable. To put it in perspective, here are some headphones that I used every day for 3.5 years. I bought them in 2015. They're LG something or others, and I paid $60 for them. I think it might have been 50, but these 5 years later still work. And I left them off charge for, I kid you not, 6 months, turned them back on after not touching them the whole time, and it said that I had battery high. So for the last couple of years, I have said to everyone that I've had the chance to talk to that Apple products are what I buy because I can rely on them. My computers, my tablets, my phones, there's something that I buy because I know it's gonna work, and I know it's gonna work longer than, whatever Android thing is the fad at the moment that won't be supported next year. But the AirPods Pro are not one of those devices. These AirPods are so broken that 6 months in, I'm doing my second full replacement. Don't buy the AirPods Pro. I can't recommend them. If you'd asked me at Christmas, before I had any of these problems, I would have absolutely recommended them because their feature set, their ease of use when they work, and just the fact that there's something about them that I really do love. And that's the thing that gets me, is while I can't recommend you buy these, I'm still going to use them. I can't return them, it's been too long, but also I still kind of love them. And maybe that's just because I'm so bought into the Apple ecosystem and yada, yada, yada. I'm a sheep, I guess. I don't know. But for you and everyone you know, I don't recommend these. Don't buy them. Wait till they refresh them and take a gamble on that if you really want some. But right now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the AirPods Pros in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this, and ring the bell if you're into loud clangy noises. I assume that's what it's for. Before I get into that felt weird.